Greetings, brothers and sisters. This video is gonna be titled, man, God chooses the image. Y'all, man, this is gonna be short and crystal clear, y'all. Please pay attention. Share this information, man. You know, I don't really care about likes, but people need to hear this. You know, I'm not here for nobody to like me. I'm just here for people who respect truth. You know, that's the only way I do it for, you know, those who don't want to be controlled. You know, truth is what really set us free. Which is why I'm finna set us free from all these lies. You know, so we talk about God choosing the image. Now, we think about any image, we think about what man has chosen, because man paint a picture. Because God chooses the image by putting his spirit in somebody. That's how God chooses his image. Which is why Moses said, have no idols. Have no images. You know, things made by man's hands. Many people attach images to God. The Bible, a picture, a words, because words, anything you see can be an image. A word, a Bible, a picture, a name. You know. Now a lot of people get caught up with, I'm calling myself Christ, so don't worship me. I speak through the Spirit. The Spirit is inside me that speaks the words of God, because it's his Spirit that he gave me. That's what God gives to all his high priests. Just as he gave to Jeremiah, just as he gave to Moses, just as he gave to Isaiah, just as he gave to the people who was going to speak. But I am the begotten Son, the one that's above angels. See, because a lot of people get it confused and not understand a prophet is not a son. A prophet is an angel of God. The Son of God was only going to come in the last days. We must understand this. So we talk about God choosing the image. God would never paint a picture. God was just going to put his spirit inside of a living man. So I'm going to read to you in Hebrews 5, as I always read, y'all. I just want to make this short and crystal clear. It say every high priest is selected from among men. So this is God choosing what? His image. But God is a living God. So when God is choosing this image, he is choosing a living man. So every high priest, I'm in Hebrews 5, is selected from among men and is appointed to represent them in matters related to God. Which is why Moses was the high priest that was giving instructions to who? The angels. Who are the angels of God? Who are the messengers of God? That is the Levites, the sons of Aaron, the house of David, to offer gifts and sacrifices for sins. He is able to deal gently with those who are ignorant and are going astray, since he himself is subjugated to weakness. So why is the high priest subjugated to weakness? Because he's a man. But he has overcome the world, so what? He's the image of God, because if you could overcome the world, then you could be caught up in the rapture. But you can't leave the earth if you still want to hold on to the earth. Just like you can't leave Egypt if you still want to hold on to Egypt. You got to let go of the idol worship, because that's what Egypt really is. Idol worship. We have many idols. Because we don't listen to the person that God sent. We listen to the person that man has created with his hands. A book, a word, a name, or a picture. You caught up in one or the other. I don't care what you say, you in one or the other. So it say, this is why he has to offer sacrifices for his own sins. So, sacrificing for his own sin, which is why he had to lay down his life. Then he had to make as well as for the sins of the people. So he also had to sacrifice for people. Man, that's a man with a lot on his shoulders right there, huh? There's a lot of weight to carry. Verse 4, it say, no one takes dishonor. Because there's a lot of weight to carry, y'all. So nobody takes dishonor upon himself. So you're just not going to stand up here and call yourself Christ, or what? You're going to be put to shame by now. I've been doing this about 3 years now, y'all. Ain't nobody going to put me to shame. Why? Because I'm truly in my Father's name. Truly been sent by God. So I'm not worried about nobody putting me to shame. I'm just worried about people hearing the message, which is why I continue to speak in many different forms. You know, people don't know which way I be going, but it's always crystal clear, y'all, if you have the ears to hear. So no one take this honor to put all this weight on themselves. Because if you're not begotten by God, procreated by God from the womb, not no book, not no man teaching you, not no man giving you his statutes and his principles, but God giving you his principles. That's what I've been doing since birth. So no one takes this honor upon himself. He must be called by God, just as Aaron was. So Christ also did not take it upon himself the glory of becoming a high priest. I'm reading this to clarify that Christ is simply a high priest among his brothers, y'all. Don't be in your vain imaginations, y'all. Do not be in your vain imagination. So I want to go to Hebrews 1. And I want to clarify that why I'm separate from all the prophets of this book, which is why when Christ took these disciples on this high mountain, which is this spiritual understanding, you know, the mountain that he was on, they thought they seen Elijah and Moses. But that voice had to come in that cloud. I'm in Matthew 17 if you want to read. I'm not going to read it in this video. But when that cloud came and said, "This is my beloved son." So when you read Hebrews, a lot of people think the prophets are greater than us. Like I told y'all, is somebody here greater than anybody in this book? I'm greater than anybody in this book. That's why the prophet spoke of me. You know. So when I read Hebrews 1, it say, in the past, God spoke to our forefathers through the prophets at many times in various ways. But in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things, and whom he made the universe, which is the new creation, y'all. The Son is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of his being, sustaining all things by his powerful word. So again, let you know God is going to be speaking. After he has provided purification for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the majesty in heaven. So he became much superior to the angels, as the name he has inherited is superior to theirs. Now, who are these angels, y'all? The prophets, the messengers of God, the Levites. Just like I'm having a lot of controversy with my brothers. You're not the only Christ. I'm a Christ too. Well, I'm going to take my crown off if you can unseal this book for me. You know. But if not, y'all, I'm going to keep my many crowns on so we can be set free, because this is the will of God to believe in the one he sent. It ain't my will to believe in the one he sent, which is, I told y'all, I put my hand over my mouth if I'm not the Son of Man. But my Father told me to speak whatever he commanded me, so I can't hold back now, y'all. And this, like I said, the grace period is running short. So the name that I inherited is superior than all these prophets in this book, which is why they prophesied of me. Even Moses said God was going to raise somebody up like him. So just as Moses was called, I was called. Just as Moses stood up on the mountain, I stood up on the mountain. It say, for which of the angels did God ever say, "You are my son"? He didn't tell none of them, "You are my son." And when you talk about Israel as my son, that's a message. That's a future prophecy of somebody that's coming back that's going to show you God is real. Now, many people have took that teaching and they done chopped it all up. Or again, I will be his father and he will be my son. Because the angels did fall from heaven and slept with the daughters of men. So when the angels fell from heaven, what did they do? They began to fornicate with man wisdom and not heavenly wisdom. They wanted to fornicate with earthly wisdom. That's what it means by having sex with the daughters of men. Wisdom from man and not the wisdom from God. That's why I got 7 women, y'all. I told y'all that's how I started my first polygamy, with my 7 women. My spiritual polygamy. You know, and that other polygamy, y'all, that's going to be there when everything get glorified. But right now, y'all, we need to get our spirit on so we can really receive life. A lot of people get polygamy, but they don't have life. That's why a lot of stuff been destroyed. That's why marriage is destroyed. So a lot of people doing stuff the earthly way. You can get married to one person and still break up. You can get married to 3 women and still break up. Because nobody has life to do things right. Once we receive the Spirit, then we could do all these things right. He say, in verse 6, and again, when God brings his firstborn into the world, he says, because Christ is the firstborn from the dead, let all God's angels worship him. Just as Moses said. Everybody had to listen to Moses. Moses said God was going to raise another prophet up like me. We must listen to him. Deuteronomy 18:18. So all the angels going to worship him. All the angels going to listen to me. Facts. All tongues will confess, every knee will bow. In speaking of the angels, he says, he makes his angels winds, his servants flames of fire. But about the Son, he says, your throne, O God, will last forever and ever, and righteousness will be the specter of your kingdom. So, as you know, Jesus couldn't have came in the middle because his kingdom ain't last forever. That was Jeremiah, which I just did the video on. Y'all go pay attention to it. So everybody want to say Jesus in this book, he can't be, because when Jesus was having the kingdom, he was going to be forever. And I gotta close, y'all. Therefore, God has set above your companions by anointing you with the oil of joy. He also says, in the beginning, you laid the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are the work of your hands. So as always, brothers and sisters, I hope the Father has circumcised your heart and ears for the message, y'all. I got to make a quick run, y'all. But I just wanted to clear that up, y'all. Facts, y'all. We need to understand that. As always, I hope the Father has circumcised your heart and ears for the message. Peace and blessings, and I'm out.